Hi, I'm Kevin Flanagan, head of fixed income strategy at Wisdom Tree.
And I'm Jeff Weniger, head of equity strategy. And this is Minds on the Markets, where we go behind the scenes and beyond the trends to explore the forces impacting our markets. Thanks everyone for joining today. If you want to like and subscribe because you think we're pretty good at this stuff, go ahead and do that. As we're building up this YouTube channel, it's Wisdom Tree Investments. So go ahead and do that at your leisure upon the end of this discussion here, Kevin, which is essentially, if you think about it, we anticipate the Fed giving us the policy easing, but sometimes you just get it by rote force inside the bond market. The bond market is kind of giving us the easing as it is. A mortgage market, 2 years. What's going on?
Yeah, it's just incredible the change in the narrative in the markets over the last week or so. I was watching my cable TV, which I can't get enough of, and I saw Seinfeld, Serenity Now, Serenity Now. That's all I could think about over the last week. And I think that's what you're seeing as the market plays this out, 75, 50, 25 basis point in terms of rate cuts going forward. What's fascinating, if you're looking at probabilities, which seem to be changing on an hourly basis, being a little exaggerating there, but nevertheless, we're now back to more than 50% chance of only a quarter point move in September. Remember, 50 was the predominant aspect to this as we were ending last week, and now we're back to a quarter point. So I do think you are getting some serenity now. But I think what's important, the point you make, is it's not just the Fed funds rate. It's open market rates, open market yields that's playing a huge role here as well. Borrowing arrangements are not always tied directly, say, to the Fed funds rate. Obviously, it leads the way. It's the anchor. But as we're sitting now, to your point, the 2-year Treasury note at one point fell in yield 130 basis points. The 10-year yield fell about 95 basis points. These don't happen in a vacuum. And Jeff, I know you are kind of our resident expert in housing. What has that done to mortgage rates?
Yeah, well, and that was one of the things you were talking about, moves 90 and 130 basis points. Well, mortgage rates have been pushing 8 in very recent memory. And then you started to get some of this refi activity because now there's a mid-6 handle on conforming mortgages at this juncture. And you think about with the 2-year moving so boldly, that was part of the small cap rotation. So you had a lot of things changing in the market's internals. But, when you look at base rates like a 10-year T-note, that rally, it happened despite Jay Powell.
Yeah, well, here we are again. I mean, how many times has this happened, this disconnect between let's just say, the Treasury market and the Fed? We saw it on the way up when the Fed was raising rates, and now we're seeing it on the way down. We seem to have gotten into a bit of a better balance, but then, after the jobs report a couple of weeks ago, that all changed. And of course, the yen carry trade came into play. And I know we could probably dedicate a whole mind on the markets on that subject, so I won't go down that rabbit hole. But, you did need to step back and say, the Fed, what are they going to drop rates for? They're not dropping rates for the yen carry trade, unless there's a systemic issue or implosion in the markets. They're focusing on inflation. And more importantly now, they're focusing on the economy, specifically the labor markets. And you and I are going to be doing an office hours coming up in the next week or so, a pre and a post Jackson Hole. That's going to be, go back, right? Seinfeld on NBC, remember? Must-see TV. That's going to be must-see TV.
Well, Kevin's referencing the office hours, which is essentially what we do on the website, where you can tune in and basically go for 30 or 50 minutes with us, asking us the Q&A on all things, in this case, CPI or Fed or whatever we're doing on that particular call. And make sure you're liking and subscribing the channel. We're doing this every couple of weeks. And then we also have the written word as well, if you'd like to learn that way by reading. Sometimes they're one-pagers in the case of this, but we also have the blog and the research insights and so forth on wisdomtree.com. That'll do it, Kevin. Have a nice day.